Hi guys, so today I'm going to be doing a foundation first impression, which I haven't done on my channel before. Today I'm going to be doing a first impression of the Chi Chi Fabulous and Flawless foundation. I picked mine up in the shade number 1 Ivory. I like that on the front of every box it has the undertones of every foundation, which made it a little bit easier to choose. I purchased this when Target had 30% off. It normally retails for $29.95 I believe, but I picked this one up for $21. So that is what the packaging looks like. It's a really nice frosted glass bottle. It does come with a pump, which is always handy. I'll read you what it says off the back of the bottle. It says oil-free, long-lasting, ultralight foundation, medium buildable smudge-proof coverage, unique, fresh and natural flawless face formula, hides all imperfections, super moisturizing and antioxidant enriched, and it is designed in Australia and made in Italy. So you get 30 ml of product or 1 fluid ounce, which is pretty much the standard for foundation. Like I said, I got it in the shade number 1 Ivory, which is for fair skin tones with yellow undertones. So hopefully this matches me. Alright, so I am going to apply a primer first because that is what I would do on a regular everyday basis, and I'm using the Benefit Professional today. It's like my holy grail primer because I have really large pores around the side of my nose and this just makes them vanish. And it's actually a good time to be testing out this foundation because I've been breaking out like crazy lately, which is very unusual for me. I don't normally break out at all. And I'll also just let you guys know that I have normal to dry skin. So I'm going to take the foundation and I'm just going to squirt a pump onto the back of my hand. That is what it looks like there. It's actually pretty thick. It's not that runny. As you can see, it's not really running down my hand that much. Has a slight fragrance. I'm going to apply it with a Real Techniques sponge because that is what I use to apply my foundation pretty much every single day. And dab some on. It smells very floral. Okay, and I'm going to blend it out with my Real Techniques sponge. That's going on nicely. Although I will say I'm not really a fan of the fragrance. So I have it applied to this half of my face. You can still see some of my redness around my nose, some of my pimples haven't really been covered up that much. So I'm going to go ahead and apply it to the rest of my face. That is with 1 full coat all over my face. I can still see a couple of my blemishes poking through. The redness on my nose isn't as noticeable as it was before. I think it's covered pretty well. It's definitely not a full coverage. I'm not really sure if I would call this medium coverage. To me this looks like more of a light coverage. I definitely have foundations that cover more than this. Just going to go ahead and put on another layer of foundation and see how it builds. I definitely think it builds really nicely. It's not caking up at all. It's not pooling in my pores at all. I hate it when foundations do that. Definitely looks very even. And it's building really nicely. My blemishes are a little bit more covered. My skin tone looks really even. You can't really see, you can see a little bit of redness on my cheeks, but it's kind of really hard to cover that up. I feel like it looks really nice. Definitely dries to more of like a powdery consistency. It definitely dries to more of a matte finish, but it's not like a flat, like completely matte. It still looks like skin. It doesn't look like it's oxidizing at all, which is good. Sorry if the lighting keeps changing, it's all weird. It's really early in the morning right now, so the sun is still going up and doing weird things. So now I'm going to apply my concealer. I'm using the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser Dark Circle Concealer in the shade Brightening and Fair. So the concealer seems to be going on pretty nicely on top of the foundation. It's not caking up or anything like that. It's actually blending out really nicely. This foundation, I literally feel like it looks like it's blurred my skin. That makes sense. Like I feel like all my pores look really blurred out. And it feels really nice. Like it doesn't feel like I've got much on my skin. It doesn't feel heavy at all. I'm just going to set my under eye with my e.l.f. High Definition setting powder. I'm just going to set under my eyes and just where I put that concealer as well. I normally don't set my matte finish foundations because I normally prefer dewy foundations, so I don't normally set my matte looking foundations, but I guess for the sake of longevity I'll set it a little bit, just using the Rimmel Stay Matte powder. It is currently 8:35 AM. I do have a couple of things to do this morning, so I will check back and update you guys in a little bit. So I've just got home. It is pretty much 1 o'clock at the moment, so I've had the foundation on for 4.5 hours now, and let's see how it's looking. Okay, so one thing I noticed is that it definitely looks a lot dewier than it did this morning. It's definitely a little bit shinier, especially in this area right here. And like I said at the start, I do have normal to dry skin, so I'm not naturally oily anywhere normally. It's kind of oily along the sides of my nose here. Doesn't seem to have rubbed off anywhere, but overall it is looking a little bit oily-ish, which I don't normally get. It's kind of settling in a little bit in my fine lines just around my mouth here, but yeah, it looks alright. It has kind of disappeared a little bit around my nose. It's faded off, but I am a face toucher, so I rub my nose a lot. It doesn't look as kind of photoshopped, I guess. It kind of blurred out all my imperfections, so it doesn't look as seamless now. It still looks really nice, but yeah, it doesn't look as perfect as when I put it on. One thing I did notice when I was in the shops, I was trying on a lot of clothes, the colour match isn't perfect. It's definitely maybe a smidgen too dark or too yellow for me. So I'll come back in a couple more hours and we will check how the foundation is doing then. I've just popped in to give you my last update. So it is now just after 5 o'clock. So I've been wearing this foundation since 8:30 this morning, so that is 8.5 hours. In my last update I mentioned that it was getting kind of dewy. I did have to powder at about 2:30. Which honestly I never have to do with any foundations ever, so yeah, let's have a look. So I powdered about 2.5 hours ago and my skin is still looking quite dewy again. Foundation's rubbed off a little bit on the tip of my nose, like around here, and it's kind of melted away on the sides of my nose. It feels a little bit tacky. It's kind of starting to separate a little bit on my chin. I still see my blush and my bronzer, so it's held that pretty well. I've got two blemishes on the side just here that are showing through now. They weren't that bad this morning. I do feel like it's come off a little bit just around here. A lot of my redness and stuff is starting to show through. I mean, it doesn't look too bad considering I've been wearing it for 8.5 hours. It's just a little bit shiny and it's just a little bit's come off around my nose. It did start to get shiny around 4 hours after I started wearing it. So not sure if this would be a good foundation for someone with oily skin. I do have normal to dry skin. Yeah, I think I've lost a little bit of coverage just around my chin here and along like the sides. I did fall asleep before, so maybe that's why a little bit rubbed off or something like that. And I have to say, I was looking back at the footage that I took this morning, and because I was filming so early, the light that was coming in was really like yellowy orange, and it looked so orange on my face. I promise you the colour match is not that bad. I mean, it's not a perfect colour match, but it's not that bad. Hopefully it's showing up now, kind of more true to what it looks like. Kind of scar just here from a blemish that's really showing through now, like There's pretty much no coverage on that whatsoever now. Yeah, so it pretty much just seems to have come off around my nose and around my chin area. Considering this is actually the lightest shade, it is a little bit too dark for me, so keep that in mind. The lightest shade is not super light. It's definitely buildable coverage. It builds really well. I think, I will admit, I heard a lot of amazing things on YouTube about this. I don't think it is as amazing as everyone says. I think this foundation looked the best for the first 4 hours, and then after that it kind of went a little bit shiny, started breaking up around my nose, lost some coverage on my chin. I think I would probably only wear this foundation if I was going out for like a couple hours, maybe to lunch or something like that. Not for a full like work day or anything like that. Probably only recommend this if you have normal to dry skin. I'm not sure how this would go on oily skin. Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy this review. I have a couple more foundations that I'm waiting to come in that I might do reviews on as well. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!